So, hello everyone. This is Pranav from the product management team of Vembu, and with me, I do have one of my colleague, senior analyst from the product management team as well, Mr. Nivas. So, today we are going to have a session on the BDRSuite version 5.5. I welcome you all for this session. I do still see people are joining in, but we'll just start off with the exact timing that was given. So to start on with, I could see a lot of new attendees who have joined in. So I just want to give them a basic rule over this point that this webinar is completely will be in a mute mode for the attendees who have joined in. So if you have any questions or if you want to ask any questions, you can just have a question box nearby. You can click on your question box and add your questions over there. My colleague, Mr. Nivas, will be answering you with all those queries that you come up with. And this webinar is being recorded. So pose a call, pose a session like within 24 to 48 hours of time gap, you will have this session uploaded in our website. So you can have that recording for your reference purpose. So this BDRSuite version 5.5 is what the agenda of the session today, because it is one of the awaited session where after a series of 5 release that came up, and this specific session will be discussing about what are the new features that came up in the BDRSuite version 5.5 and what are all the enhancements that we have made within the product. And pose a call, I'll just mark you with only the changes on the new features that has come up with. So at the post a call, like we'll have a discussion where to download the product and how to install it on your environment. So these details will be explained to you in the following slides that I show. But though we also have some of the new customers as well as partners who have joined in, I'm just going to start on with the basic introduction on a BDRSuite. So it might be known details for most of the people who have already have joined in, but still we'll just start on with the basic formality of explaining the new ones about the BDR and Vembu BDRSuite and their features, basic features. So people, this BDRSuite is a backup and a disaster recovery product, and more concisely I could say it as it's a comprehensive backup and disaster recovery solution in this market. So this is one of the product of Vembu Technologies, and we have been in this business of backup and disaster recovery for more than 2 decades, literally, and we have a footsteps in 100 plus countries with 60 plus 1,000 plus businesses are using our software till date. So that's a small scap about the BDRSuite. Now, diving into what this BDRSuite has in, as I already have told you, this BDRSuite is a comprehensive backup and disaster recovery solution, which I would specifically stress and say it's a software solution. Okay, so with this BDRSuite, we have multiple products which is encapsulated into it. So with this BDRSuite, you can set a backup for your data center, your private cloud, your SaaS application backup, your endpoints backup, as well as your cloud workloads backup can also be done with the BDRSuite that is on road for you. So in this case, when I say about data centers and private cloud, I would specifically talk about the virtual environment, the physical environment, and the cloud-based environment, as well as some of the applications that is being mentioned. As you could see from the picture, when I say a virtual environment backup, I'm actually referring to the backup of your VMware and Hyper-V hypervisors that you have on board on your on-prem data center. So this VMware and Hyper-V, you can achieve an agentless type of backup solution for that. So all your virtual machine level backup can be done using this, where in case of VMware, you can back up your ESXi, your vCenter, as well as a new add-on feature has been added to it, which we'll be discussing in the following slide for the VMware specifically. And then we have this backup for the Microsoft Hyper-V, in which you can back up your Hyper-V standalone host. It can also be your clustered host, or even if an SMB file server which has been enabled on your Hyper-V, you can still take a backup of that. And now moving on to the physical environment. As far as physical environment is concerned, BDRSuite provides you with an image level backup for your Microsoft Windows operating system. Either it could be a server operating system or a workstation operating system. You still can take a backup at a disk image level. So including the C and that is your boot drive along with your C drive, you can take a complete backup of your whole machine, which you can restore it in any other format in the later stages. That's the advantage of your physical Windows machine that you can take a backup of. If you have a Linux machine that is a physical, which we offer a file or folder level backup for all your Linux machines, both your flavors of Red Hat as well as your Debian. Then we have the backup for your applications, where we support five of your applications. Either it could be your Exchange, SQL, SharePoint, and even if it is a MySQL, you can take a backup of it. And the Outlook backup is also supported by the product of BDRSuite. Apart from these, so these are the data centers, native data centers that possesses in their environment. So when I talk about the BDRSuite for SaaS applications, I'm stressing specifically on the backup for Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace, which is most of the hot topic in this market nowadays, because cloud-based backup is is a talk of the town now, and Microsoft 365 is majorly used based on that, and Google Workspace follows the next to it. So in this Microsoft 365, we tend to take a backup of your complete user mailbox of the organization that you've added. You can take a backup of the mailbox of the entire organization or at a specified user level, and you can take a backup of the group mailbox data. Storage, that is your specifically Microsoft 365 is concerned with OneDrive. So the group drive of that group's mailbox can be taken a backup. And then apart from these, we can also take a backup of SharePoint Online and Teams as well for the Microsoft 365 backup. So when I say about user mailbox, in both the cases of Microsoft 365 as well as in the Google Workspace, when I say user mailbox, the user mailbox includes both your mails, contacts, calendars, and the storage, that is OneDrive in case of Microsoft 365 and Google Drive in case of Google Workspace, can be taken a backup at this point. So that's the SaaS application backup that BDRSuite holds for you. And then endpoints backup. There are some endpoints specifically which I have to point out, like Windows 10, Windows 11. In case of Mac, we support until Mac 12. That is from 10.14 and above. We support the Mac OS versions. And some of the Linux versions, which are most endpoint based, is also supported by the BDRSuite at a file or folder level. Even if it is a file or folder level that you can even achieve for Windows and Linux server operating systems as well. So keeping this aside, the bulk deployment is also enabled by the Windows for the Windows environment for the endpoints of it. So the BDRSuite for cloud workloads is like, if you have any EC2 instances that is running on AWS, you can take an instance level backup of the AWS instance and you can restore them to the same region at an instance level or at a volume level. So this put together completely gives you a backup solution, and this is all from a single window. That is why it is rightly called as a comprehensive backup and disaster recovery solution that we offer. So all the backups that you do can be stored in two storage options. Either you can store your data in on-prem storages like your directly attached storage, your NAS drive, any of your network drives such as NAS or SAN or even external hard drives. These are your direct storage options, which we call that as block storages, which is on-prem, obviously. And in case of object storage, which is more towards cloud, you can add your cloud source to this backup server, a cloud storage account to this backup server. So your primary copy of your data gets to store in that cloud storage that you have added to it. Okay, so this simplifies your complete backup product. Once the storage is added, your complete backup server is being deployed. It's all done. And apart from this, if you want a copy of your data to be stored at a faraway location or in one of your secondary data center or even in your remote office or a branch office, then you can opt for offsite DR. So where you will have a secondary copy of your data to be replicated to your offsite location. So at case due to disaster, if there is a complete crash down of your backup server machine, you still can continue your business from your offsite DR because you will have the similar restore options with the data that you have already replicated to the offsite location. So this is your complete setup of your BDRSuite with your offsite DR. So I believe I've just covered the concept of BDRSuite alone. So now running into the agenda for the today's webinar. So what's new in BDRSuite version 5.5, which is most of the people who's asking revisedly, like after the 5.0 series, we have enriched our product with much of new features, and which is more important for the talk of the town now. So what this exactly version 5.5 is going to have, and how is it going to set a mark in the market space along with the competitors. So this is what we're going to see. Let's talk about this version 5.5 has both the new features as well as the enhancements that has been made. So we'll talk about the new features first. So the new feature that we have to start on with is from the virtual environment. Yes, the support for VMware vSphere version 8.x 8. Series 8.0 is being supported from the version 5.5. So if any of you have ever like upgraded your VMware environment to version 8.5 8.0, obviously you can try taking a backup using this version 5.5 option. Next is the same along the side. We have this backup and recovery for the VMware VM templates. This is what I was trying to say before. Like, we already have the feature to take a backup of your ESXi host, your vCenter host, and if you have the VMware VM templates, you can just add your vSphere host directly, and you can select the particular VMware templates for your storage to be backed up so that you can restore them directly at the later stage, and then you can bring them up as a virtual machine in another environment, in completely another environment. So that is the backup for VMware templates, which is a new add-on with this version 5.5. And then we have this Google Cloud as backup repository under the object storage option. So initially we did support the your storage repositories to be your S3 cloud, or if there is any S3 compatible storages like Minio, Wasabi, Blackblaze, all these are S3 compatible storages. Even that can be cloud storages can be used. Then we brought on called the Azure Blob. So if you had a Microsoft Azure storage account, you can use that Azure Blob as your storage for this backup repository as well. And then now we have also integrated the Google Cloud storage based on the customer's request. The Google Cloud storage has also been introduced into the version 5.5, is being mainly introduced into the version 5.5. So now people, you have the 4 storage options that you can add as your primary storage repository to the backup server. It can be your primary, or it can be even your second copy to store your second copy, but basically it's a backup repository that you can add it to the backup server now. And then next to the side, we'll be talking more towards the Microsoft 365 on details, and then I'll come to this ConnectWise integration. Now, this Microsoft 365, as I told you, it's already a hot talk of the town. Now you can back up the archived mailbox of your Microsoft 365, and you can also recover them at the same phase. So that's the new add-on here. And this Microsoft 365 has been introduced with the deduplication for the user mails alone. So with this BDRSuite, now the deduplication for the user mailbox of Microsoft 365 is also being introduced. And yeah, this is a complete setup. And at last, I'm coming to the ConnectWise integration based on the more of the requests from the uh, users, the partners. Now the ConnectWise integration is also being added, so it is directly taking you as to a, it's appears a tool like which will be taking you directly to billing site or your ticket site, or which you can add through this ConnectWise integration. So that's the new features that has been incorporated into the BDRSuite version 5.5 till date. And the new enhancements, like always steadily in any of our releases, we try to improve the stability of the product along with its performance. In such case, in the recent times that we have gone through, we have just improved the performance of VMware backup by twice across. And the CBT reset, because of which most of the VMware backups were failing, was also now being addressed in this enhancements version release of version 5.5, where the VMware CBT reset has been updated. The parallel disk image backup is also as an enhancement that has been taken. So initially it was like once a disk backup is done and next comes another. Instead, now we have made it parallel disk backup to be available. And the parallel synthetic full backup is also made done. So if there is two synthetic full backups at the same time, previously could not be done. Now the any number of synthetic full backups can run parallelly using this option. But make sure you have a good RAM speed for all these processes to take place, because a recommended RAM would you go with for installing the backup server would give you the best out of the product that you can expect. And you have the auxiliary applications for Microsoft 365 also to be taken a backup. So that is one of the enhancements that we have made. And most of the enhancements now, what we're going to see is towards the Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace, most towards the SaaS applications. Like you can have a restore to a different organization, which is newly introduced. And then you have the restore mails directly from the 365 console to be added on to the Outlook. That's an add-in option that we have to directly check it out in the Outlook as a downloaded format. Then you can download the restore logs from Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace also. So there is a direct log option where you can restore them. And the complete offsite replication window has been enhanced, which with much of the details that it will be providing. So these are the enhancements. These are minor as well as the major enhancements that we have improved in this BDRSuite version 5.5. Apart from this, as I already mentioned, the stability of the product and the performance of the product has been comparatively improved from the previous all versions that it had. So now we'll jump on to the live demo of what all the features that I have into the product. So here, what I'll be doing is I'll just take the console of my product. I'll completely show you what all the new features that is available, what all the details that is available, and how it can be enabled. Okay, so this is an overview of what I'm going to show of the new features. Okay, so talking on which, I'll just share my complete screen. Yes. So here, people, as you could see, this is my backup software login page. So this, I would say, it is a web-based console. My software, it could be deployed on a dedicated machine. Either it could be a virtual machine, a physical machine, or it could be a cloud instance that you're using. You just need to deploy the software with based on its prerequisites. So we have two installers here. We have both Windows as well as Linux installers. In Linux, we specifically have this Ubuntu installer for this. So you literally have two options to install the product. Once the product has been installed, you can uh, once it's a normal typical type of installation that you can go through with. So once the product is installed, you can take the product through the web-based console. You can access the product to the web-based console, and for this we use a port 6060. Okay, it's an HTTP port that we use. So any browser that you open, so specifically the best viewed browsers are from the version of Microsoft Edge, that is 98 plus, and Mozilla Firefox from 53 plus, and 68 plus of Google Chrome web browser. You can view this console in a much better way, the best viewed way. So this, as I told you, it's a web-based console again. So you can just log in with the default username and password if you have gone with a typical installation that's more like admin and admin. As I'm just logging in. So this is a new console that everyone is seeing, version 5.5 console, and ta-da, you have the complete console here. So this is a demo mission that I'm showing you. So as I to the new comers to the product, I'm just giving you an overview here. I said this product is a complete, all-in-one solution, a comprehensive backup and disaster recovery solution. So here, to make it justified, I have all the features here. Like I have the VMware, Hyper-V, Windows, and Linux backups under one section, the AWS backup on another section, the SaaS application backup that includes Microsoft 365, Google Workspace in one section. The endpoints backup has been added to another session, and applications and DBs has been added to another session. I believe from 5.03 we had this separation, but this detailing is generally for the newcomers who came up with. Okay, so now to start on with, we'll just see the new option that we have. One is the storage. Once everyone logs in, immediately they have to add their storage. In this storage, the new feature that we have introduced is the object storage. We have the Google Cloud option where you can add your Google, if you have a Google Cloud storage account, you can add that storage account with the credentials that you have. Okay, where you have to give the access key and the secret key of your storage account. Once you add and save it, you can select it and you can add that as your storage. So your Google Cloud can also be added as a storage account now. So that is one of the new feature that came up with. And to another, the next option is the support for VMware ESXi or VMware vSphere 8 version. So you can add your latest 8 version to the VMware ESXi host by selecting either the by selecting or giving the ESXi name or the IP address and its credentials, and you can proceed further to add to it. And the second to it is the templates, the VMware backup templates. So here, this is one of my vSphere that I've added. So I can configure the backup for my templates. Just go to backup tab under the VMware vSphere host. After adding my data source, I'm just moving on to the backup tab, clicking on VMware vSphere, and here is the page. I'm just giving a backup job name and choosing in which repository I want to deposit this particular backup job that I've created, and I'm proceeding to move further. So in this particular vSphere host of mine holds the template. So here is a particular template that I have. So this is a template of a virtual machine template, which I can still configure a backup of. So selecting it and proceeding further, where I can select any disk, any particular disk to be excluded from that template. I can do that so from this page, and then guest processing. If there is any applications that is already running on this template, I can still enable the application aware processing. But since it is a template, we don't have to worry much on the application here. We can proceed further on this. And here is the scheduling part. So I can schedule to run my backup on multiple frequencies, like from every 15 minutes is a minimum RPO that we provide to take a backup. If I want, I can even select to run my backups manually as I wish, or I can run it on a one-time basis. This is mostly for the supported for immutable options. Like once they take a full backup, they'll just store it in a separate hard drive, so it can't be changed forever. And next we have the daily basis to run. So within daily basis, within 24 hours, I can choose how often I want to run my backup jobs, and I can set, if I'm choosing a job to the number of times that I want to run, I can set the time frame for that number of versions as well. Then I can choose my time backups to run on weekly basis, monthly basis, or even after a particular backup job. So however, whatever I choose, that is my backup job schedule, which will run automatically. As per the design, the initial backup would be a full backup followed by its incremental. If I need any additional new full backup apart from the initial full backup, I have two options. Either I can choose with the synthetic full backup or the additional full backup schedule that I have. Proceeding further, I can set up with the retention. So I have two types of retention. One is the basic retention, where you can choose it based on the version basis or day basis. And I also have the GFS retention for both the full backups as well as the incremental backups, which I can choose. Apart from this, if there is a deleted virtual machine that you have, you still want to retain that data for much period of time, you can opt this option for retention of deleted or removed VMs. That would be an added advantage here. Even if your source virtual machine is being deleted, you still can retain that for a pretty much longer period of time. And then you have the encryption option, where you can have your already encrypted data to have a password over that. So it is wrapped up, the encrypted data will be wrapped up with a password, without the password of which you can restore your data, delete your backup jobs from your backup server. That's more of a security level. And then finally, you can review the complete configurations that you have made. And if you want to run this backup job immediately, immediately you can select this option and save it. What happens is the initial full backup will be a complete full backup. After that, at every 9 p.m., you'll start automatically to run the backups. So this is how the backup job configuration works. Now, what I've showed you is the backup job configuration for a VMware VM template. So this backup job configuration is going to be the similar for Hyper-V as well as Microsoft Windows disk image backup as well. So that is how I configure the backups for this, and that is a new feature. That is a VMware template backup is one of the new feature that we have. And next to it, I'm just rushing. The next immediate step that I have to look into is the backup job for Microsoft 365, where I have my archived mailboxes to be taken a backup. So just by adding your data source of Microsoft 365 account to the backup server, you have literally three options to add it. One is automatic process. Another one is a manual process, where you have to manually create an Azure AD at your Azure account, and then you have the PowerShell scripts to run to add the account. So all these manual steps includes the steps alongside the details that you have to add. So it includes the steps alongside to it. So once the data source is added, you can now configure the backup for that organization of the domain that you have added to. So either it is Microsoft 365 or the Google Workspace. So in this case, the new feature that we are going to check is the archived mailbox. So I'm just checking on the Microsoft 365, select a backup job name, and you can choose again in which repository you want to deposit the backup data, either in the block storage or object storage, and you can select the name of the repository to it. Moving further, here I have to select my organization. If I select the backup entire organization, the complete organization will be taken a backup, which includes all the user mailbox, the SharePoints, Teams, and all that. If you want to select go based on um, the the object basis, I can select by based on object basis backup. So in this, by choosing my user mailbox, I would see an option start backup configuration. Here I can select the domain, so which domain which is being used, and if I want all the users mailbox to be taken a backup, I can select it, or I can specify the users base accordingly. And here is the option like archive mailbox. So this particular archive mailbox of a particular users or a group can be selected to take a backup. So if I want to list the group, complete group, I can select and I can configure the backup for them, or for the particular user I can select the mailbox and I can configure the backup for them. This is the archive mailbox that you could see into this product. So again, here after selecting, you just move forward. Here the backup, the minimum time that you could select to run your backups, that's the minimum RPO for the SaaS application is from every 1 hour. Every 1 hour you can have your data to be taken a backup. There's a minimum time that we have, and if you want your data to be compressed and stored on a local storage, even that you can compress it, and you can set the retention for each of the objectories that you have selected. In my case, I have selected the complete mailbox that includes my mails, which I can select the time period of that to be retained in the storage, or even the user mailbox that if I want to select, I can select that and retain the particular detail. So this is how you can select your retention, and last is your review page, and you can save this. So once you save, automatically the backups will be listed down in this list backup job section. So I've already configured some of the backup jobs here. So when I try to restore, now next is there's a new feature that we have under the restore section for this Microsoft 365. So when I try to restore using the restore to the user mailbox, selecting it and proceeding further, I'm choosing the domain, and here is the restore point. So the versions of the backup data will be listed down in the timestamp line which is shown here. So I can select this particular timestamp. Moving forward, I'm going to select the user mailbox. I've just taken one user for my demo purpose. So I can restore the entire mailbox or only the specific mails of the user, like either at a folder level or at the mail level. I can just select it, or even I can select it at the archived mailbox level. So those mails that has been archived under the mailbox can also be selected. And when I choose to restore, I have this to be downloaded as a PST, or I can restore to the same user mailbox or to a different user mailbox. These two options are default for any of the options that you're going to choose, any of the objects that you're going to choose under the mailbox, either your mails, your calendars, your contacts, or OneDrive. These two, restore to same user mailbox or restore to different user mailbox, is going to be the similar. Whereas only for the mails, either the archive mails or the mails that you're going to specifically choose, or group mails, here you'll get this option either to download it as a PST, or you can download it as an email or as an mbox for your offline purpose. And you can also have an option that is a new one that has been enhanced now, restore to a different organization, where I can restore the complete mailbox to a different organization's mailbox. Now that is the option that we have newly introduced here with much of the restore options that you have on the lineup. So apart from this, in Google Workspace, we also have added a new option. So here you have something called a shared drive. So if you have a shared drive for your Google Workspace, you can restore that shared drive granularly. I'm just again choosing a timestamp. So I'm just choosing a particular timestamp on the Google Workspace, and I can even restore this particular shared drive to the uh, to a different user or to the same user mailbox. That's a new option that we have under the shared drives section. So that's the details that we have for the new backups that is on already on your new features that is already for your version 5.5. And apart from these, the connect wise is what we were talking about. So this is how you can restore your shared mailbox for your Google Workspace. And these are the new features that has been introduced into this version 5.5, main new features. And then you have the connectwise integration option. So once you click on the tab, just click on backup server. Here you have the connectwise manage. So you can just click on the connectwise manage option. You can add your connectwise server or the site with the company ID that you have created for your account, and the public key as well as a private key, which you can do this from your API key option in your connectwise manage studio tab. That is your connectwise option console, management console. You can create your public key and private key. Using that, you can test the connectivity and update it. So obviously all this any tickets or any billings that is to be done from based on the backup server, all the reports will be updated to your connectwise boards. Okay, so this is the complete new uh, details that has been added to the BDRSuite server. So I'm sorry, people, I'm not able to give a complete lineup on this go because it's a complete section that I have to add, which literally takes higher of your time, as well as the time of the session would be extended. So I'm just cutting short on the lines that I'm going to talk about. And these are all the new, I'm just covering only the new features that has been added, and these are all the new features that has been added to the BDRSuite. Okay, so now let's see where to download the product. So once this is all the new features that came up with, now even more the stability of the product has been improved. These are all the new features that has come up with. And now if you want to check on the user guide, you can directly click on this help option. You can click on the user guide to learn through if you have any doubts, or if you want to check or with an expert, you can just post your questions directly in the community session regarding the product. And if you want to download this product, you can just log on to bdrsuite.com. Okay. You can just log on to Vembu.com. So once you log into the Vembu.com, click on download section. So this is how the Vembu.com looks like. This is the main phase of the Vembu.com with all the details that we have. So if you want to specifically download the product, just click on download. So here you can download the version 5.5, which is for the production use directly. So you can start using it. For this, you have the 30 days of free trial. You can try using the software and make sure your software, the product that you're going to install on should be satisfying the system requirements. For evaluation purpose, you can try installing it on a Windows 10 or Windows 11 machine with a minimum of 8 GB RAM. So you can try using this software, play with the software. You'll get to know more about this software when you try using how flexible it's been made. That's a new feature that we have, new features that we all have in this version 5.5. So this is only for the fresh alone build, which you can download it from our website. Apart from this, for the customers who are already using the BDRSuite, the older versions of BDRSuite, you will soon get the the updated build for version 5.5 in your portal account. So you can download the build from the portal account, and you can provide installing the software on top of your existing version. For that, you can refer the software update guide. Even that is available. Or if you want, if the new persons who want to check on the other new features that BDRSuite has within it, like all the features that BDRSuite has, and you want to have a personalized demo for that, you can just sign up for this page from this page, or you can just contact our sales team. They'll schedule a demo with one of the product management team members, the product experts. They'll give you a complete detailing about what all the features that the BDRSuite hides within itself. So that's all from my end, people. I believe I have just shared you with the at max new new features that has been introduced with the BDRSuite version 5.5. Just a sneak peek over the top. So if you still wanted to know more in depth, as I told you, you can contact our sales team directly, or if you want contact or through phone, you can contact from the numbers which is being displayed on this screen. So I thank each and every one of you for attending this session. I still see there's a lot of people who's been attending, and a lot of questions are already filling up our QA box, and my teammate, my colleague, is already trying to answer those questions. He's been answering some of the questions which I see. But people, do not worry. Even if you have those questions in the mail, in the QA box, you can still post your questions. We'll just have this session open for another couple of minutes, around 5 minutes or so. So you can still post your questions there. Those questions which we couldn't answer in this session, you'll get an email drop from a colleague to your mailbox. And please do also check your mailboxes frequently, because sometimes it may land up in spam, uh, because if it is a new user that comes up, so it may also be in your spam or archive box. So please do check on that. Your questions would be answered by your colleagues, and you will have a direct interaction for that as well. So thank you one and all for joining this session. It was pleasure having you all in this session for now. And please stay tuned with the social media connects community of BDRSuite. So either in Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn, we have a community there. So you can just please stay tuned with it, or even you can check our frequent websites. You can just check our website vembu.com, where we'll post our updates and detailing over there. So again, pleasure having you all in this session. Take care. Bye bye.